What is up, guys? Tomatron the One here, or Tom Wilkins as my channel displays, whichever you prefer. And today, I have a review on an item that I have never seen anyone talk about, ever. An item I never knew existed until about a year ago, and an item that I truly believe, unironically, may be the very best Thomas & Friends diecast item ever made. What is it? It is the take-along Harold and the Mailbag. Now, the way I discovered this item was when I first got my eBay account in late 2021. I started to look on eBay for any rare Thomas items that I could get, as you do. And I stumbled upon this item, and I had no idea what it was, but the seller had two. They had one that was out of the box, which is the one I ended up getting, and they have one still available, which was in the box. It was a Harold with this magnet on the bottom, this mailbag, and this unique character card that I'd never seen before. So I decided, what the heck, let's buy it, and bought it. And in the images, I knew that the magnet could come out and pick up the mailbag, which I will display in a second, but I did not know it could do one thing, which I will also just show you in a second. But anyway, let's start off by showing you the character card, which is epidemic of the late take-along character cards that came out around this time. It's got a yellow border, and unfortunately a lot of them used images of the item included, edited onto a background from the show. I personally prefer the ones that were just images from the show, but in this case I don't think it's too bad because it's Harold in the sky and it fits. This is also, I believe, an item that was never released in the UK, because if you know the UK character cards, you would know that they have a bunch of different languages on the back as well as English, but the American ones don't. So that's how I'm guessing this was only released in America. But anyway, it says Harold. Name, Harold. Colour, that's, again, you can see it's the American spelling, white and red. And the bio. Look up! Harold is on the way. Flying proof that you needn't be an engine to be really useful. Harold always has time to deliver to Harold always has time to help the engines with jobs like delivering the mail. An interesting description, but it works. It doesn't call it Harold and the Mailbag. The actual set is just called Harold, but I'm going to call it Harold and the Mailbag. So, anyway, here is the mailbag itself. It's a nice mold. It's quite big. I mean, just compare it to Harold. In the show it would be tiny, but here it's quite big. It is quite light, but it is a nice red colour. See, it says Soda Mail on both sides. It's got some nice moulding around the top, and hear that kind of shaking noise? Well, that's a magnet inside. And let's finally talk about the pièce de résistance, Harold. Now, this Harold is pretty much one-to-one the normal take-along Harold. I actually do not own a normal take-along Harold. The closest thing I had for a long time was this, which we're not going to talk about this. But this Harold is pretty close to the original take-along Harold, besides the magnet, of course. Now, I'm sure if you're familiar with Harold, you already know what this looks like. So let's just get on to the main feature you're all waiting for. So this magnet, you can sit Harold down perfectly fine and he'll rest flat. So the magnet doesn't get in the way. But what you can do is this will extend out a fair amount, to be fair. No, it's not the longest thing in the world, but it is a decent size for the size constraints that they had inside of Harold's body. But then what you can do is take the mailbag, use the magnet, and it will clip on. Now, the magnet is deep inside this molded part, and as you can see, the magnet on Harold will connect to the top, but it won't go all the way down. So this magnet isn't... It's a good connection, but, using such little force, you can see it's very easy to just take off. The actual magnet itself is actually really strong. So if I just get a normal magnet thing here and connect it, you can see it does work well with a smaller magnet that will go inside this part of the sack, but just on its own, it's not a truly strong connection. But the main feature that really blew me away when I got this, that I had no idea it could do, you may have noticed that the door on Harold is slightly different to a normal one. It sticks out a bit. Well, this is going to be a bit hard to show, but press it. You press this button while it's suspended in the air, and the magnet will retract and pull back in. I had no idea it could do this. So when I got this item in the mail and it pushed the button and it reeled the magnet in, my mind was blown. So let me just try and show you. Nearly dropped him there. Let me just try and show you from this angle. So when you push the button, it will also spin the blades. Look at that. Isn't that cool? I didn't know it could do that. I knew this button was here, but I thought it was just... Being honest, what I thought it was you press the button and then the magnet would come out, and that's not the case. You just pull the magnet out, push the button, and it comes back in. And that is such a good feature. And I never ever see anyone talk about this. I never knew that this toy existed. But I don't know if that's because nobody knows it exists, if it's sold poorly, if it was barely distributed, or if just nobody cares about it. But I think for this feature alone, and considering the fact that nowadays Mattel wouldn't even consider doing something like this unless it was for a larger scale Harold. They wouldn't even consider doing a wind-up magnet, a winding winch feature for a Harold toy, and they haven't made one. But they would only do it for a larger scale. This is a take-along. Take-alongs aren't tiny, but they also aren't big. So the fact that they put a winch in here and got it to work flawlessly is like outstanding. And it works completely flawlessly. And when it's all reeled up, you can still carry the mailbag around with you, by the way. So you can have it retracted in like this, or you can have it swinging about. If you want to recreate Harold and the Flying Horse or episodes like that, you can do that. But that, I think, for that feature and the fact that it works flawlessly, I think that truly makes this the best take-along item ever. Now, before I give a final verdict, I just want to show another magnetic take-along-esque Harold toy that came out a couple years after this, because this was released, according to the character card, in... Can you see that? In 2008. Well, this is an item you may be more familiar with. This is the Take and Play Misty Island Rescue themed Harold and the Search Cars, which is named so underneath. You can see there, Harold and the Search Cars. Now this pack was released in 2010 and was a tie-in with Misty Island Rescue. Now, I do remember seeing this pack in a shop many, many years ago. It'd be 12 years now at this point. Makes me feel old, but I remember seeing this pack in a shop and thinking, oh, 2 trucks and a Harold? Well, I've got an Ertl Harold. I had this terrible stigma where if I already had the single end character released, I wouldn't get packs like this, and I really regret that, because a lot of these packs are rare now. But I saw the Harold and thought, oh, well, I've already got an Ertl Harold. I don't need a take-along Harold as well. Well, I didn't realise this Harold actually is unique as well. I mean, if you want to compare the differences between these two Harolds, it's mainly in the face. I think this one has a better face, to be honest, to Take and Play, but I digress. But this Harold actually is unique, because if you look underneath, it has a winch moulded into the base, which I don't believe the normal Take and Play Harolds do. But it has... It's a bit dirty. I did get this a bit beaten up, but it has like a moulded winch. It doesn't pull out like the other one, but these two trucks that are included, this one has firefighting equipment like a fire hat and fire hose, and then this one is an open wagon, a Sodor Search and Rescue Center open wagon with medical supplies and fire extinguisher and a hose. What you can do with these is bring the Harold down, and there's actually magnets in here as well. So what you can do is just bring Harold down, he will clip on, and then you can fly away. Now, this is cool as well. If the take-along one didn't exist, I would probably call this the best take-along Harold. The best diecast Harold, at least. But the fact that the winch doesn't come out kind of just brings it down just a little bit. I mean, it is a good pack on its own, don't get me wrong, and you get 2 exclusive trucks. Well, this one's not, like, super exclusive, but this one is. But just the fact that the winch doesn't go up or down sullies this only because this exists. Ironically, this is heavier than this Harold. This take-along Harold surprisingly doesn't weigh that much. This one honestly weighs more. I don't know if that's because the metal is thicker in this one or what, but anyway, the point is, this also exists, and this is a perfectly fine option if you want to have a take-along style Harold with a magnet in. But personally, I feel that the Harold and the Mailbag Harold is the best take-along item ever made. But anyway, if there is anything negative I will say about this, it is not really to do with the item itself, but just to do with the fact that it's so rare. I've never seen any more of these on eBay, besides the one seller who still has the pack new in the box, which, honestly, if I can get it down for a decent price, I might get it. But I've never, ever seen anyone talk about this. I've never seen anyone review it, I've never seen anyone mention it, so I don't know if this sold that well, but I don't know what it would have sold for brand new. But, I mean, just the fact that this exists is kind of representative of the Thomas merchandise that we used to get. I mean, we used to get things like this that people can buy and really have fun with, and nowadays we get this. We get this oh, just get it out of here. I'm sorry, Harold and the Mailbag, you are so much better than that. But, I mean, I just truly miss Thomas toys like this. The ones that truly feel like they had passion and budget. I mean, the All Engines Go push-along toys now are more accurate to the show, but they're also in a style that a lot of people don't enjoy. The Trackmasters nowadays, oh god, just don't even get me started. But to be fair, the wooden railway stuff that is coming out now, the new style wooden railway stuff, is fantastic. If we could get like a Legacy take-along, or even Ertl styles line, I will buy it, because like, if we can get things like this again, that would be so good. Anyway, if I were to rate this toy, I would give it a 9 out of 10. I definitely recommend trying to seek this out, because I really think it is worth it. It's a toy that you can enjoy outside of the realm of Thomas, but it also just has so many play opportunities, and it really, really impressed me. Anyway, thank you for watching.